2021 report, the Auditor General says irregularities amount to how much? 17 billion. Come on. We are going for 16 billion. We have 17 billion that we can recover. And he says he won't issue the surcharges. Why?
Just a little over a week ago, the Auditor General's office released the 2020 Auditor General's report on public accounts. The report revealed over 17 billion financial infractions on public accounts. Today, some civil society organizations have met here at the Sutherland Park to protest against the Auditor General's failure to surcharge and disallow these infractions. This is what we are covering today on Say It Loud on Ghanaweb TV. My name is Kojo Asante. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Say It Loud on Ghanaweb TV. We have joined the Coalition for Democratic Accountability and Inclusive Governance here at the Sutherland Park, where they are protesting and asking the Auditor General to surcharge and disallow as part of his audit reports for the year. We will first speak to some of the officials. We understand there is a bit of challenge in accessing the venue for their gathering. So, if you don't mind, we understand you have a challenge with accessing the park. What's the situation?
Well, we don't actually understand what the challenge is with whoever is in charge of the park, because we've always known this park to be, a free access kind of area, because the public park, this is the children's park we are talking about. And on any ordinary day, I can walk in here and go and eat. The restaurants are there. I can go and sit under the trees or the sheds and enjoy fresh air without any question, simply because we want to converge here. And we have police permit. The police is actually here to protect us in doing our demonstration. So we are just converging here so that we will march off to go and deliver our petition. But we understand the security man says he has instructions from someone from the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, that we should not be allowed here. And that's quite funny, because the right for us to converge here is guaranteed not by an individual, but by the supreme law of the land. That's the Constitution. You understand? And this is a public place, for God's sake. It's not like any other place that we need to write permission for. We are not coming to do it. Within 45 minutes to an hour, we'll converge and move. So we don't actually know what the challenge is. But with or without whatever permission that is being said about, we are gathering, the people are still coming, and we are encouraging anyone who is interested, wherever you are, to come and join us. Very soon we'll start marching, and the demonstration will be underway.
You mentioned a little bit about economic hardship and all that. The government, times without number, has stated that these are not normal times. We've had COVID, we've had Russia, Ukraine and all that. Why aren't we being charitable with the government in this regard?
Hey, charitable. I don't know what you mean by that word charitable. The truth is that there's somebody whose job says he should collect monies that have been taken. Supreme Court has ruled. He's not doing that. And we say we are chasing IMF for money. What is charitable about this? They should bring the money back. And not just that, we should also sanction them. You know how in the port case, they are saying that the rule is that if you don't pay the right amount, you should even be penalized 300%. We should even be penalizing them. Put interest on the monies that they have taken, they shouldn't have taken, and let's make money for this country so that we can run the government and we are not chasing IMF money. It's a very important thing we are doing today. And Ghanaians need to speak up much more. The countries where you see that they are doing well, Western democracies, it is because citizens stood up. They didn't keep quiet when things were going wrong. So there's no charity here. The right thing must be done. And we are going to ensure that we speak up to ensure the Auditor General understands that people are not silent. We are not sleeping. We are watching and we expect him to do his work.
There's this evidence of laxity in state institutions doing what they are mandated to do. Why are we in this place as a country?
So, you know, we are at IMF. Why I am here? We're at IMF and we went there reluctantly, all right? And we're asking them for money. We are not even sure how much they're going to give us. And we know they are going to put us through quite a bit of pain, okay? Just 300 meters from here is our Auditor General. He is sitting on over $1 billion of money that he claims he has found to be misappropriated, stolen, mismanaged, and he has authority, power to go and take that money. The people who the money is with, he knows them. And they are walking around in this country, they have addresses, they have jobs, and he's simply not doing the job. Okay, and all of us have to pay higher fuel prices, go and buy food and take the receipt and read the number of taxes on it. Okay, and everybody has to take a suffering because somebody who has been well resourced by the state refuses to do his job. Okay, and that is why we are here. We are going to go there and ask him, why won't you do your job? For which reason we all have to suffer through everything. If you won't do the job, leave the office. But if you will do the job, do the job. We don't need to be at IMF if we are sitting on $1 billion stolen by people we know. That is why we are here.
I spoke to one of your people about the fact that probably the Lord ascribes what should happen to the Auditor General in case he fails to do this. Why is that not being done? I mean,
you've made an assumption which is not accurate. The law does not say what should happen to the Auditor General if he doesn't do his job. There are things that citizens must do, which is press their leaders to do the right thing. If you don't do that, you will not get the right leadership. Nobody goes to jail because they are a bad worker. Okay, so the Auditor General is proving himself to be just a bad worker, just an incompetent person, just somebody who does not want to do his job. And we are happy to pay him. He will not be jailed or be imprisoned for that. His bosses who appointed him have to look at his performance and take cognizance of the fact that he's not doing his job and sack him. But if for some reason the bosses are happy with what he's doing, then they'll be happy with, keeping him there. So nobody has legal penalty or criminal culpability for not doing their job. That is why citizens must consistently press them to do their job or leave. If you can't do it, just leave.
I've just been informed that what the Auditor General is doing is equal to contempt of court. Do you share in that belief?
Oh, certainly, because the Constitution is clear as to the functions and performance of the office of the Auditor General. It's clear what he's supposed to do, and he's not doing that. To add to that, the Supreme Court has ruled that he has the power to surcharge and to disallow, and he's not doing that. And we have precedent where the previous person he took over from did that, initiated that process. So why is he not doing that? All the instruments and the laws that this person had, the former Auditor General had, are available to this same person who has come to power. So why is he not doing that? We don't see the reason for it. And so it leads to speculation and the concern we have that corruption is being legitimized. And that is why we are here to fight to make sure that we will push the Auditor General to do his job.
Mr. Bentil mentioned citizens advocacy. I believe this is one of them. How far is this group willing to go to ensure that the Auditor General sitting in his office gets to do his job?
Well, it's a process. I think what we are doing now is to pick it and maybe let the Auditor General sit up and realize that we cannot be taken for granted. But if that fails, we have other options we are considering. There is the option to go to court. We also can petition Parliament to make Parliament realize that it is also not effectively doing its job, so that Parliament can also do the job. The President has the power to remove the Auditor General from office. And why he's not doing that is a shocker. The way he has been protecting his officers and ministers and so on is at variance with what the ordinary people think is happening on the ground. So why is it that the President cannot feel like the way citizens feel? And the President cannot respect the laws as it is enshrined in the Constitution and in other existing legislation in the country. So the President should also be seen to be doing, instead of saying that and describing his ministers as outstanding and doing a fantastic job, while the ordinary person sees it otherwise. Why? Why is it the variance? It means that something is going wrong. And it confirms the fact that corruption is being supported by the government. And if that is the case, then we are in a very difficult situation, because corruption can lead to a situation where governance is compromised. And when governance is compromised, it can lead to state capture. And these are all issues that can lead to even a failed state. And we don't need to look far to see examples and consequences that are happening in other countries.
The coalition, and the protest is in respect of a matter which is of very major national importance. That is to ensure that those who misuse public funds are made accountable. And the Auditor General, as we know, under the Constitution, has a duty to disallow any unlawful expenditure and to surcharge the persons responsible for such unlawful expenditure. In its reports, the Auditor General has repeatedly identified persons in the public service that have misused public funds and indicated that they ought to be surcharged. And yet, to date, the Auditor General has not rallied the spine to take that decisive action, which the Constitution imposes on him as a duty. And indeed, the Supreme Court itself, in a judgment, brought in a suit brought by Occupy Ghana against the Auditor General, stated very clearly that the Auditor General was under an obligation to surcharge persons who misuse public funds. So, in this era where we have a crisis of revenue, people who misuse public funds ought to be dealt with without any hesitation. And we are here to make sure that the Auditor General complies with his constitutional obligations and to ensure that public funds are safe. This would be part of the message to all public officials who have control over public funds, that if they misuse public funds, they'll be made to account for it. And I think that this is very important. This is just the beginning of many things that the Citizens Coalition will be doing. We don't believe simply in talking on the radio or on TV stations. The only means of change that is effective is through mass action. And this is just the beginning.
George, so you've seen the Auditor General's report?
Yes, I've done a lot of reporting.
Okay.
From the content.
So in the report, you see that he says X amount of money has to be recovered, right? Yes. Because he has found that the money, truthfully speaking, has been stolen, right? Or misused. He says it should be recovered. Who should recover it?
He himself.
Fine. He has a power to recover. And the power giving him to recover is disallowance and surcharge. So we are simply asking him to issue the disallowances. Domolevo issued over 100 of them. He has issued only one. Why? We are going to the IMF, right? How much are we seeking for? In Ghana cedis, it translates to about 16 billion that we are asking for from the IMF. If we don't get that 16 billion to $2 billion, we are told that our economy will crash. Everyone, you and I sitting here, we will not even have the situation where we can't even afford the fuel and we are crying. It will be so bad, like we're seeing in Sri Lanka, right? The 2021 report, the Auditor General says irregularities amount to how much? 17 billion. Come on. We are going for 16 billion. We have 17 billion that we can recover. And he says he won't issue the surcharges. Why? He should explain that. It's as simple as that. And it's surprising that we, the citizens, have to hit the street the way we are doing before we get some action. Is it the same person the president praised for doing some good thing? What is it? For issuing reports? I think this is very bad. It's really bad.
Some people have pointed out that he might as well be committing contempt of court in his failure to specifically surcharge and disallow. What do you say to that?
No, it's very clear on the face of Article 2 of the 1992 Constitution. If the Supreme Court gives an order, and Occupy Ghana got this judgment with, consequential orders. The orders were mandatory that the Auditor General should issue disallowances and surcharges, right? Now, what does Article 2 of the Constitution say? It says that if the Supreme Court gives an order and you disobey that order, you have committed what is known as high crime. Do you understand? You have committed what is known as high crime. What are the consequences of high crime if you are found guilty? If you are a president, it's the basis for you to be removed from office. If you are vice president, it's the basis for you to be removed from office. But if you are none of those, the law says, the Constitution, which is the supreme law, says if you are found guilty, you will suffer the penalty of not exceeding 10 years in jail. And then you will not have the opportunity to be able to stand for elections or to be appointed into an office in this country for 10 years. Do you understand? Yes, so it's that serious. It's not just a question of contempt.
What has necessitated you being part of today's protest?
Okay, so I think for us, the impunity in this nation is just too much. It's out of hand. Citizens have been inactive. We do not ask questions. And because civil society has also not spoken up enough, we see a lot happening which should not. And so that call to accountability is started. And the formation of the Citizens Coalition, which is made up of civil society and also very prominent Ghanaian citizens, is to initiate that process. So we are asking that public officers who are supposed to be performing their duties, which they are paid for, should begin to do so, because we will come after them. We will speak. Our voices, per the Constitution, says we should speak. And our president has also encouraged us to be citizens and not just watch. And so we are interested in that. We are taking that up. We are calling on the people of Ghana that they, excuse me to say, the nonsense must stop. We need to build more schools. We need quality in our education. We need better quality of public services to be delivered to us as a people. And so we are starting that process with the Auditor General's office.
Your CSO, Ghana Integrity Initiative. For me, the word integrity is something that piques my attention anytime I hear it. If you are to speak about integrity in Ghana and in the public sector now, what would you say?
It is one of the key low points we are scoring. If you do every survey, and for instance, we have one recently that was done by Surcharge and the Statistical Service, you realize that the trust of the citizen in our public service is at its lowest. People believe that people in public office are occupying it to benefit themselves and their cronies and not to the betterment of our people. And we all know basic that integrity is doing the right thing when no one else is asking. That is the basic definition. You are doing the right thing. How many people do the right thing in this country? People are doing things to facilitate their growth, to facilitate the growth of their pockets, to facilitate those of their family members. And to a large extent, what we are seeing as a people is not encouraging. And the people have spoken. What else do we want to do? Do we want to see people going on to being rowdy? No, we don't want that to happen. Because as citizens, we believe that as this nation prospers, we would all prosper. And so the few who are benefiting at our expense, we believe the time has come to pick up a public office and per the Public Officers Code of Conduct, the Constitution Article 284, it speaks to why we should have public servants who are adhering to certain conducts. Ethics, integrity is the key. And if they are not doing that and nobody is holding them accountable, we are speaking up. And we know our voices would be heard. And the change we want, we will see it.
I'll come back to you. So it is a gathering of all the big names in the civil society organizations terrain in Ghana, and they are here at the Afua Sutherland Park, where their objective is, one, to protest against the Auditor General's failure to surcharge and disallow the many instances of financial infractions on government accounts that he has recorded in various reports, annual reports that he has changed out. And the gathering is just about picking up numbers, and hopefully any moment from now they will move from here through the ministries and to the office of the Auditor General, where they will present a petition. And this is Say Loud on Ghanaweb TV with me, George AEC. We will be right back after this break.
From the dawn of time, people have engaged in several businesses. With the onset of technology and innovation, life has relatively been made easier. By using debit or credit cards,
mobile banking.
Thank you. And your favorite, mobile money?
tech has indeed married business. On BizTech, we spend time with faces behind known and upcoming businesses in the country.
Learn more about the new technologies and innovation,
as well as find out about the trending issues in the world of business.
Join us as we serve you with a variety of compelling interviews, projects and others right here on Ghanaweb TV.
So right now it looks like all is set, the gathering is set. The organizers are addressing the participants, and after which the protest will commence. So let's just get in and listen to what the organizers have to say.
Auditor General's report. We have been told that 17 billion cedis, almost 18. If you add 2020 and 2019, you get about 48 billion cedis. The amount of money we are going to the IMF for is how much? If you convert it, you are talking less than one of these years. In other words, if we had retrieved any of the amount from 2019, 2020, 2021, we do not need to go to the IMF. Does that make sense? The maths is simple. 48 billion irregularities, monies lost in 3 years. The amount you are going for from the IMF is about a third of that. If the Auditor General retrieves this money, do we need to go to the IMF?
No.
Do we need to go to the IMF?
No.
So this matter is critical.
The Constitution in Article 2 says that to disobey the orders of the Supreme Court is a high crime. It's a high crime for which, if it is committed by a president or a vice president, it is grounds for removal from office. If it is committed by any other person and they are found guilty, they can go to jail for not exceeding 10 years, after which they are not eligible to contest for any public office or to be appointed to any public office for 10 years. We want the Auditor General to know that there are consequences for what he is refusing to do. And no one should continue to ask us that we should go to court. We are citizens. It is our monies that are used to pay you. We cannot use our own private monies to go to court to compel you to do the things that you are supposed to do. Simply issue the surcharges. If people disagree with you, they will go to court. When it was issued against Yao Safo and he disagreed, he went to court and he won. When it was issued against people like Sylvester Mensah, they went to court, they won. Issue it. If they disagree, they will go to court. If the court vindicates them, let it be so. Daniel Domolovo, in a very short period, issued over 100 of the surcharges. You have no reason not to continue to issue surcharges whilst the country is suffering.
We are bleeding.
We have been told that by December, if we don't get this 16 billion that we are seeking from the IMF, this economy will collapse. Already we are suffering under the weight of this situation. Please issue the surcharges. 17 billion is sitting there. 2021 alone, 48 billion, 2016 to 2020 is sitting there. There must be consequences for wrongdoing in this country, and the right signals must be sent. Exactly. That's all the Citizens Coalition we are saying.
Thank you. Thank you. So it is the Citizens Coalition's protest against the Auditor General's office, demanding that he exercises his mandate to surcharge and disallow. And as you can see, there's a lot happening here. And that is Lawyer Martin Kpebu in your short. Council, good afternoon. Yes. The weather is not very good, but you're still here. Yes. Why is it necessary that you are defying even the weather?
We are here to motivate and encourage the Auditor General to issue more disallowance and surcharge, full throttle. It should go full nyanya. Okay, on disallowance and surcharge, because his own report shows that billions of Ghana cedis are with our fellow citizens, both tax, public officers and private citizens. So we want all the 17 billion mentioned in his audit report for 2021 recovered. Then we can go to the previous years. Okay, so 2021 report, the irregularities, okay, amount to 17 billion. 17 billion, that's what we want recovered. And the previous ones. In actual fact, if you put them all together for the past few years, it's about 48 billion. If we get all this money, we don't need the IMF. We don't need the IMF if we get our 48 billion. So we are here, as I said, to make sure, to encourage the Auditor General to deploy his powers fully, okay, 200%, so that we can recover the money that is with the people.
We are talking about a law that bestows some power on the Auditor General. Now there is the belief, or there is a notion that the Auditor General, by failing to do this work, is in contempt of the Supreme Court, which issued a ruling in the case of Occupy Ghana in 2017. Yeah. What do you say to that?
Yes, of course. That's what I believe too. Because the Supreme Court said that the Supreme Court made it compulsory that once he sees that any public officer or private citizen has breached the law in terms of their accounting laws, that's keeping money, failing to pay taxes and all that, he should surcharge. It's compulsory. It's a must. The Supreme Court says he must. So if it's not doing it, obviously, we will say it is contempt. And so, as we speak now, he has issued only one. And we are saying one is too small. It's infinitesimal. You know, them level issued over 100. So we want the Auditor General to ramp up the speed. He has to redouble his efforts. That's it. Okay, so that we can recover all the money.
Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you. Yes. So that was Lawyer Martin Kpebu, a legal luminary in Ghana, and he has also shared the belief that the Auditor General is in contempt of the Supreme Court by failing to issue the surcharges as ruled by the Supreme Court in 2017 in the case filed by Occupy Ghana. And so they believe that, well, he calls it a motivation. They are here today to march, to motivate the Auditor General to do his constitutionally mandated job. And the protest, as you can see, is happening. The placards have different messages with the citizens, as they call themselves, and they are saying things like, Auditor General, show your powers, obey the Constitution, Mr. Auditor General, surcharge and disallow, let's not settle for less, and so on and so forth. But then ultimately they are asking for one thing. They are asking the Auditor General to exercise his constitutionally mandated duty, surcharge and disallow for the various financial infractions that has been recorded on government accounts all over the years, which has resulted in a collective of over about 50 or 47 billion Ghana cedis being lost. And they believe that even when this is done and done properly, there would not be any need for government to, as a matter of fact, seek the IMF's bailout, which is currently being sought. Government is looking at raising between 2 to 3 billion, which is actually around 16 billion Ghana cedis. And they say that this falls even short of what the Auditor General has recorded as financial irregularities for just the year 2021 alone, which is about 17 billion Ghana cedis. So that puts into perspective the seriousness of their concerns, that if the Auditor General should recover what has been lost by the state for just 1 year, it should be enough to bring the country out of the current economic challenges. So we are still following the protest. This is still Say Loud on Ghanaweb TV with me, George AC. But if we are taking it from the beginning, I was asking why it is important that we as citizens embark on this exercise.
The reason why we have 5,000 schools under trees, the reason why about 4,000 primary schools do not have junior high schools, the reason why there is scarcity of resources, especially in rural schools, the reason why government is unable to provide equal opportunity for every child also going to enroll in school is because government has constraints. Government has revenue constraints. Now these revenues are actually the outcome of our taxes. So if we are paying taxes and the taxes are not being used well, we should be concerned that the taxes that we are paying through our sweat and toil are being misapplied, and they are not being used judiciously to deliver quality social services to us citizens. So in that case, citizens must rise up and remind the institutions of state responsible for ensuring that our taxes are used judiciously, responsible for ensuring that anyone that misapplies our taxes face necessary sanctions, are working. And the foremost institution in this case is the Office of the Auditor General. That's why today we are engaging the Auditor General that in the past 3 months we have written to him severally to disallow and surcharge. 2019, 2020, 2021, 3 auditor reports, no action. You are just reporting it to us. Okay, 80 million has been lost, so what? Our interest is not about reporting misapplication of funds and corruption to us. Our interest is reporting that as a result of X and Y amount of money being misapplied, we have been able to recover X and Y. That's what we are interested in. And we want to remind the Auditor General that it is his mandate in the Constitution, and it is a mandate as reinforced by the Supreme Court. And we are prepared to support him to pursue this particular agenda of disallowing and surcharging all unlawful expenditure as contained in his own report, not anyone's report, his own report.
So the petition is in this envelope. We had an attachment which is in an Excel. We have taken time to even extract some of the potential cases of surcharge, which we want to work on. So we would send that by email. These days we are doing technology, so we shouldn't have any problem with that. But now we want to hear from them. Because we have been at least corresponding for a little while, what do they have for us? So that we can be reassured that as citizens, we can protect our city. Yeah? In these IMF days, we should not leave one city behind. Never. Every city should be accounted for. So please, maybe, I don't know if PRO will introduce, if you will introduce who is receiving the petition, and then the audit service can say something.
I acknowledge receipt of this petition on behalf of the Auditor General and the Audit Service. You know, I want to thank you for coming and the peaceful manner in which you have exhibited this demonstration. We want to assure you that we as Ghana Audit Service acknowledge and in fact agree to all what you are doing. We have a common goal that we need to fight to make sure that every city is accounted for. That is why we have actually exposed and publicized our reports. We have agreed with management for another meeting somewhere on Friday where we'll sit down and agree on the way forward. So on behalf of the Auditor General and on behalf of every Ghanaian, I want to thank you for drawing our attention to this and to assure you that all the concerns that you have raised will be addressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So today's protest by the Citizens Coalition has finally ended with assurances from the Office of the Auditor General that their concerns have been noted and that they will call them to a meeting on Friday, after which all their concerns will be addressed. Of course, the Citizen Coalition says this is the first of many actions they intend to take in their pursuit for accountability. This has been another episode of Say It Loud on Ghanaweb TV with me, George AC. Special thanks to my cameraman, Kwame Ajaho. Until we come your way with our next episode, it's bye for now.